not it. Oh, that's it. There we go. Oh, man. Baldy, I want to make... Can you guys hear me pretty well? Let me turn it up a little bit. There we go. Okay. I want to make a... Sorry, it's probably loud. Let's make a thumbnail. My version of the Just Chatting thumbnail. Jules, TTYL. Let's do it. Wait, let me see if I can do it. There it was. Did you screenshot that? That's all you get. And fucking yellow teeth. I drink so much black coffee, my teeth are like, I look like a smoker. Did you screenshot it, really? That was quick, man. Oh, man. God, there's so many loud planes here. The city of Tucson, Arizona has a lot of, like, military aircrafts just flying around. It's like GTA, speaking of Rockstar. But yeah, what did Rockstar do? I know everyone's been shitting on them. I don't know what they did. Usually they're pretty chill. They managed to stay out of the, I don't know, just the shit like that Bethesda's going through and like this crap that EA gets because they're pretty good. It's just broken. Like what? Like their servers? I click and play and the launcher crashes. Oh, is this about the Red Dead Redemption on PC? Because I know that just came out like the other day, right? I'm not. I'm actually drinking coffee right now. I have. You know what's fucking hilarious? My buddy for my birthday got me a bottle of Yellowtail over the weekend, and I haven't actually drunk Yellowtail in a little bit, so I was really excited. And so I saved it. I didn't open it. I brought it back with me to my apartment because I wanted to drink it here, and I realized I don't have a bottle opener. I mean, I have like the normal bottle opener, but I don't have like the wine one where you have to like screw it in. So it's been sitting on my counter, looking really good, and I have no way of just getting it. Tristan, what's up? Look up the knife trick. That shit freaks me out. I feel like I'd screw it up somehow. Tristan, I'm sorry I haven't been able to watch the streams. I've been having shit on Mondays, but I hope they're going good. Are we still on for next Monday? I'm still down to play a tune. I can't really play anything these days, but just that one song I could play if you want. Yay! I'm excited. I don't know what's wrong with me. I've been getting more scared of like performing as I've gotten older. Like when I was a really little kid, I didn't give a shit, and like in middle school, I was still like fine with it. In high school, it was fun, and then like in college, I started to get like lukewarm about it. And these days, I get just constantly like, I can't fucking do this. Like at that George Benson thing, I was like terrified. I was so terrified. Whenever I listen to that recording of when we played it, that SEC George Benson scholarship thing, I'm just like, oh, dude, fuck. I don't know what it is. Do you guys have any good tips for like, I don't know, not public speaking, but just like performing and stuff? But cool. Yeah, Tristan, you said something once in one of your streams that struck me because you said you love playing live because it's just kind of it's there and then it's done and that's it. And recording is what scares you because it's like it's so high quality and you can hear like every little thing. And I guess the fact that you have the chance to perfect it is like stressful maybe for you. But I'm the complete opposite, which is interesting. I love recording because it's so like I'm just like in my little room with my group of friends or whatever, and we can take as many tries as we need to make it the best. And exactly why you're like chill with live shows is what freaks me out because it's like one and done. You only get one shot. So I feel like I don't know. That's been like stressing me out more. Just that concept that it's like it's all in just this one performance, and that makes me like totally fuck shit up when I play live. Yeah, it is pretty genuine. I try to make recording genuine by like live recording it, blah blah blah. I mean, obviously we can add bits and bobs after the initial live recording, but I mean, you're right. There is like a magic to actually playing as a unit. I would hate recording something if it's just like instrument by instrument. I've done that before on people's albums and stuff, and it turns out very beautiful. But yeah, I don't know. There's something, especially with jazz music and stuff. There's an importance clearly with actually playing together at the same time. But I don't know, man. And a lot of the music I write doesn't like the song that I'm gonna play on Monday. I guess doesn't actually have. There's no set tempo. Like I want it to kind of rush actually. So I don't know. It's weird. So yeah, with stuff like that, like I just can't. I can't do it. And then with another tune, I wanted to have some like accelerandos and retardandos, but the way it was like a string section, so I had to record people separately. So Chris showed me that you can change like the tempo at certain measures for like a recording. You can go in and like input where you want tempos to change based on like the measure. And it was so weird. It was so hard to record a completely like linear tempo change. It felt very stiff, and it was just weird. I didn't like it, but it was the only way we could do it. You can never play better or worse that you actually can play. Yeah, and if you mess up, that's not always a reflection of your skill. Everyone messes up. Yeah, that's a super cool mindset to have. I don't know. Hey man, Goink, what's up, man? I played in an orchestra from 6th to 12th grade. That's a long time. And I played in smaller ensembles, so performing isn't too stressful. I mean, it's different when you're sitting amongst 30, 40, 50. Yeah, I'm cool on like I always enjoy playing in like I played in a string orchestra from like I guess 7th grade through 12th grade. You know, I always had a blast. I fucking played viola. Like no one gives a shit. It was and there's like everyone's around you. You just feel you're just like one part of a bigger piece. When it's that kind of dynamic and like choirs and stuff, it's always fine. But when I'm like singing songs and playing piano at the same time, or if it's like a piano jury and it's just you playing piano and it's all on you. That's really scary. When you're live, messing up is kind of okay, but when you're recording, messes up. Yeah, okay, messing up is unacceptable. I mean, yeah, I know exactly what you mean, but I think of it in a different way. I don't think of it as like, wow, I don't know, I have to do. Yeah, it's not like I have to do it perfect. It's like this is an opportunity for me to do it perfectly, and that's cool to me, I guess. So we see it in a different way. I don't know what it is. I was gonna play something, but honestly, I just got home from like a big test, and I'm like mentally, I'm just like fuck. So I don't know. I just want to chill right now. I want to detox. Yeah, trick your brain into being excited rather than scared. That's the thing. Yeah, people do say they can sort of channel their like anxiousness into like an energetic performance or whatever, but for me it always just fucks it up. Like my voice gets shaky, your hands get shaky, and your muscle memory takes over a lot, which is good and bad because I don't practice probably as much as I should. So I do use my knowledge of like theory and stuff a lot when I'm playing to help me remember. So that being said, if I like can't think during a performance because I'm stressed, I'll forget some shit that maybe I should have practiced more. Did it once when I had to give it. Yeah, I had to take a public speaking class. It was like fine, just because it was I don't know. You just had to talk to the class, and it was easy enough. I just don't make eye contact with anyone. Is there any more New Vegas archives coming? I want to, next time I stream New Vegas, I want to play it on, I think the archives are up to date, fairly sure. I'll double check, but pretty sure they're up to date on the channel. But the next time I stream New Vegas, I want it to be on YouTube. I think I want to play like the shit that I want to play on Twitch, and then if I play like more of Old Woman and Oblivion, or if I play more New Vegas, I want to do those on YouTube, because I know that, like, I mean, I know the fan base, quote unquote, is essentially the same, but I know that YouTube, that's what people are looking for sure. On there is the Bethesda stuff, or just the Fallout and Elder Scrolls games in general. I'm worse at arguing my point. My voice gets all wobbly. That's what happens when I get like. It sounds stupid, but that's what happens when I get like mad at people in real life. I can't get mad. I just get like scared, and I don't want to. Whenever I mean, it's not like I get mad at people a lot in real life, but if I ever I got to that point, I can't like bellow. I'm just like, dude, don't, I can't I don't know. It's stupid. I hate it, but I don't know. So people can sub to you, or you're gonna become a Twitch partner. Yeah, I want to. There's so many parameters you have to follow, like streaming a shitload. I hate that because it's like quantity over quality. And I feel like I have to do it. If I want to do it, you just got to stream like a lot. Just based on there's a certain number of viewers you have to have, not per stream, if I read it correctly, but per week or something like that. When I forget exactly what it was, but essentially the way to get like lots of viewers, you just have to stream a lot. It doesn't necessarily have to be like you have a lot of viewers every single stream you do, but if you stream a lot, you'll accumulate more overall viewers, if that makes sense. Which is, I don't like that system, because it incentivizes you to just stream like constantly, which I get can be cool, but I don't know, man. I'm not good at this stuff. Me and Max, we always talk about how we don't even at this point, we don't feel like YouTubers, we don't feel like internet icons or whatever, because I don't know. I rarely have something to say. I usually just intake stuff and I'm pretty quiet. So and when I play video games, I just don't think. It's something that I'm doing because I want to just chill and relax. So it's hard to, I feel guilty streaming and shit because I feel like I don't have that much input. But, so I mean, hats off to people who can do it. Guys like Markiplier and shit who are always I don't know. There are a lot of people who don't like that, how they put on a show or whatever, but it's tough to do that and actually make it engaging. We finally passed the follower limit. Cool. We have to have 7 streams within 30. Yeah, 7 streams within 30 days. Okay. You only do 1 a week, so you can apply for affiliate. You should. I know your buddy who records or whatever. Doesn't he stream on Fridays also? I think that's what I remember reading from your not your bio on your Twitch, but whatever. Just the information on your Twitch. I thought it was yeah. Jam on Monday, and then he does almost a producing stream on Friday. Maybe I misread it, but I don't know. You've been Tristan. You've been streaming a lot on your channel. I want to watch him, but whenever I get the notifications, I'm either in bed or about to go to bed and exhausted. But oh yeah, he's been off that. Oh no, you should. Yeah, I don't know. But see Tristan, you're exactly what I would prefer. You only stream once a week, but you always play really good music. So it's it's not as much, but the quality is really, really, really good. What I don't like the idea of is streaming constantly, but not really having anything to say, or I don't know. But people enjoy that. That's part of streaming. They just like someone to chill with or whatever, which is super cool. And I'm down to that. But put your volume higher, nerd. LMAO, sorry. Okay. Yeah, I'm speaking quietly, but the snowball mic is really sensitive, so I don't want to. Is that better? Because I feel so bad in some of when I rewatch some of the streams and I'm getting killed, and then I just bellow, and the mic clips really hard, and it's really loud. But then my normal talking voice is just nothing. Please keep your voice down at the Imperial Palace. I stream stuff every day. It's when I get home at 2 a.m. Tristan, what's your schedule like? This whole stream has just become me interviewing Tristan. Because I know you're ASU now, but why do you only get home at 2 a.m. Dude. I'm ready. I'm ready to hear the Ballad of Tristan. My schedule is ridiculous. Be kind to yourself, man. Don't, I know you can take a lot. You're like a smart guy, but, I don't know. Be careful. Yeah, I hope it's not all school. That would be fucking insane. Gigging, that's good. That's another thing where like I get offered to play gigs and stuff, but I'm just really lazy. I was like, nah. And I don't know. I feel like they could get someone better, so I'm like, no. But everyone needs a really good bassist, and you're a really good bassist, so that's really cool. Ton of work at the studio. Is it the same studio that you guys stream at, or is it just like whoever needs you? Nice. Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. That's really cool. I like come out of my shell once or twice a year to record a song with people, as you know, and then otherwise I literally don't do anything. You're the producer. Are you like learning about producing and stuff? I always wanted to do that to be more self-sufficient, but that is such a technical aspect of music, and anything technical I'm terrible at. So yeah, you do the music stuff, right? Yeah, exact same. It blows my mind. Whenever Chris Moley, whenever he talks technical with me, like he knows he's like, he thinks I know what he's talking about, and I'm always just like, I have no idea what the fuck he's saying, but it's like nice that he thinks I can follow the conversation. When he asks me all these questions, I don't know like the words he's using about, like he's asking me how I want certain aspects of the recording, and I'm like, I don't know, man, just do what sounds good. You write horn parts and choral back. That's really cool. I don't. It's oh man, you guys who can just like sit down and write stuff a lot also blow my mind. Again, I'm just so fucking lazy that like sitting down and writing sheet music is always like a last resort for me. If I have to do it, then I'll do it. For like musicians, if I want to record something, we gotta write it down. Cool, but I'm like a composition major, so I'm supposed to be writing stuff all the time, and like whenever I sit down to do it, it's like a drag. And my orchestration isn't that good. I could learn a thing or two about orchestration, but also it's just because I don't know. I'm too lazy to think of like intricate figures and stuff for all the instruments. So I'm just like, here's the note of the chord, play that. Here's the note of the chord, play that. And actually, the piece I showed my professor yesterday, he was like, "Oh, it's pretty minimalist, huh?" And I'd never thought about it as minimalist before, but it was minimalist just because I had just been putting like single notes for each chord and shit, and I hadn't been really fleshing it out like texturally or anything. And so I took that offensively. Not that I have anything against minimalism, but like it wasn't supposed to be minimalist at all. So I don't know, man. I gotta bite the bullet and actually write some shit down. I have trouble writing my own stuff, but I'm very good at editing and working on other people's. Yeah, that's cool. 13-piece funk group. That's awesome, man. And I don't think I've ever heard any of your stuff, but I want to. Because I mean, you're good at your stuff, and I feel like I don't know, you get it. And I always feel guilty. I felt so guilty when I gave you the chord chart to step one, because it was literally just like a minor scale and shit. And usually my stuff is not that simplistic, but it just worked for that. But I remember when I gave it to you, I felt so guilty. I was like, oh, he's gonna fucking hate this. But you have written like tunes in the past, I think, right? I've never heard any of it, but yeah, simplicity is. I mean, it works. If it works, it works. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, so, yeah, if it can be like simple and effective, that's the golden ticket. That's the hardest thing to do. That's why I love like Ernest Hemingway so much. If you can like get the most out of as little as possible, that's the goal, I think. But not everyone thinks like that, so I don't know. I wrote one jazz tune and I hated it. It's so interesting. Hmm. I wonder how you write. Whenever I write, it's very organic. I've always been comfortable with my stuff. I mean, there's a lot of like stuff I've written or I've like made up just on the piano, and then I'll kind of toss it or change it here and there. But honestly, I hate all the masturbatory complex music. Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. If it sounds good, it is good. Who said that? Someone said that. But I agree with that. Yeah, man, and that's hard to do. Like people don't give that enough credence. If you can, yeah, I don't know. If you can take simplistic, quote unquote, like writing styles and harmonies and make something really, I don't know, definable and individual and like it stands on its own and it's unique. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. If you can make something unique out of like not the most complex, intricate stuff, then that's like tough. That's way tougher than just I don't know, trying to be weird or whatever. Yeah, I remember you tweeting about that Earth, Wind, and Fire's September. It was like one of the greatest songs. I don't think I've ever heard it. I heard like 30 seconds of it because it was September whatever the date. There's like a specific date that's tied to it, I think. Or was that a different song? Everyone was like tweeting that song on that day. But I gotta check that out. I don't listen to a lot of stuff. I need to listen to a lot more stuff. I listen to a small pool of stuff over and over and over again. But yeah, I don't know. And then honestly, I don't know. I'm weird. When I was working at something about making the simple things complicated, or making the complicated simple. Yeah, exactly. That's true. But yeah, when I was working at I'm always very careful about what I listen to because I feel like same with like a lot of writers have that mindset. Like not only script writers, but like novel writers and stuff. The 21st Night of September. Yeah. A lot of writers have the mindset where you should only like watch the best movies or read the best books for influence. And I'm not super like elitist like that, but I remember when I was working at School of Rock, I had that teaching gig. Like a year in, I started to realize like, oh my god, listening to like Leonard Skinner every day, I feel like it's fucking up my ability to write because I feel like all that stuff was like in like Seven Nation Army, all that stuff was seeping into my mind, into my subconscious. And I got really like I got genuinely worried. Like I gotta stop. I gotta get out of this job. I gotta stop listening to this stuff all day. I feel like it's kind of shitty, but I don't know. I remember being like that was my biggest fear when I had that job. Yeah, I don't know why the fuck they didn't. You honestly would have been better than like anyone they have there. Not only at like your instrument, but just in general as a teacher and as someone who was like knowledgeable with music. I don't know, dude. I don't fucking know. There's so many like people that work there that just should not work there. I shouldn't have been able to work there myself, but I mean I tried my best to teach, blah blah blah. But I don't know. It's a very it's more of like a daycare than a music school, I guess I would say. I did blackmail again. No, I didn't blackmail. I had like a lot of friends who worked there. I showed up and they're like, play songs you know. And jazz. They didn't give a shit. They didn't give a shit in like a bad way, or honestly, I like. I do like that. There was that pianist from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I forget which one he is, but he's either Emerson, Lake or Palmer. And when I had an interview there, he had just died. And I I saw that in the news or whatever. So when the dude asked me like, hey, who's one of your favorite rock musicians? I like it's terrible, but it got me the job. And I was like, oh yeah, Mr. whatever, Emerson Lake. I knew his name at the time, that dude. And I was like, yeah, he just died recently. It's so sad. Like I acted like I was all beat up about it, and like I was really like a big fan. But he bought it, and then I got the job. And he is a good. Like, I actually looked at his stuff afterwards, and he was a great keyboardist. But yeah, no, it was totally bullshit. And then even when I worked there, like unless the kids were in a show, where in which you have to teach them whatever whatever the show is, I would teach them. Like I had my keyboard students learning like Clementi, sonatinas, and Bach and shit, and then I had my vocal students learning like jazz standards and stuff. And because that's just like what I wanted to teach them. Unless, I mean, I would always be like, hey, is there anything you want to work on? But most of them were so like indecisive that I was just like, all right, let's just do this. So yeah, towards the end, like over the summer, it was almost exclusively classical or jazz stuff I was teaching, which is because I wanted to do it. And they were like, the management seemed fine with it. I don't know if they were doing it. I don't know if they knew that I was doing it at such a high volume, but I don't fucking care. I don't know. Like I knew it was beneficial to the students, so that's all that really mattered. They told me that they didn't want to teach people to read. That's fucked up. Yeah, I taught everyone about like the staves and how they work, staves, whatever. No, I mean a lot of the time we would use chord charts unless we were looking at Clementi or whatever. But yeah, no, it's fucked up, dude. Yeah. Yeah, I don't. And again, it's tough because I'm not one of those guys that's like, you're not a real musician unless you can read perfectly. Like, I blow at reading so hard. I don't think I'm ever going to be good at sight reading. But I think the mindset that it's, like, not important is just as bad. Like, that's horrible. The fact that you should just, like, disregard that skill is insane. It's like if you want to be, I don't fucking know, man. It's like if you want to be, like, an author, but you've never read any books or something. I don't know. Where the heck are the captions? What are you talking about? I don't think... Can I do captions? I feel like they'd be bad. I mumble a lot when I speak. So I feel like the captions would be poor. This is lying. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything that can... Is there any software that can detect voice accurately as it's happening? That'd be kind of cool. Live captions. Just type as I speak. Okay, let's do it. Thank you for coming, Emmett. Please sing a song that illustrates yourself. Oh, yeah, oh my god. Should have known. Should have known. You're trying to read my lips. Okay. Yeah, if you're teaching students that you don't need to read, you're teaching them to chase empty... Yeah. No. I agree with that. Yeah, I don't know what the problem was. They were weird. But I did have some good students, and I had some genuinely very talented students. I had this girl who was like a freshman learning Chopin. It was one of the easier Chopins, obviously, because he's tough all the way around, but that's the point. Like, she was learning serious repertoire, and it was cool because I knew a lot of these kids hadn't heard any of that kind of music at all. Like, when I would show people, even stuff like My Funny Valentine, like, they'd never heard of that before. And it just, like, introduced them to this whole new thing. And I think that in itself is important, because most of them really liked it. It was kind of heartening to see that a lot of these kids don't... I feel like when we were in high school, you and me, Tristan, and, well, I'm a little older than you, but even so, when we were in high school, I feel like a lot of the people in high school were just, like, kind of whatever's on the radio, whatever's popular kind of people. And it was weird to listen to, like, video game soundtracks and shit like that. But these days, that's, like, all these kids in high school listen to. Just, like, I don't know. I remember Undertale. The Undertale soundtrack was, like, super popular, and they all wanted to learn, like, the theme songs from JoJo, that cartoon JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which was, like, I don't know. It's cool that they're more upfront with the weird, quote-unquote, stuff that they like. And a lot of them, like, didn't even... Like, pop was kind of just mixed in there with everything else they liked. And they were all upfront about that. And it was cool. It had, like, seeped into the norm to listen to that kind of shit. which I thought was really cool. But then I found out about like people like Alan Walker and Marshmello and shit. Those people make me kind of sad. And that's also where I found out about Billie Eilish. I don't know. I can't do that stuff. Those kind of people just make me depressed. William Eyelash, one of the greats. Where the fuck do these people come from? Who decides like, yes, this person is gonna be big? What criteria? You know, that stuff just blows my mind. And then there's and this is fine. It's like it's hard to talk about this stuff because people like immediately pin you against a wall. But there's some woman named King Princess. Like her whole musical platform is like, I'm a lesbian. All of her songs are about that. Her whole like just her whole, I don't know, her whole persona and image is like celebrating the fact that she's like a lesbian, which is fine. But also like you should actually try to make music. You know what I mean? I don't know. And like all of her fans just like loved her because she was like this, I don't know, this figure for LGBT, which is, again, that's cool, but it's become more clear to me nowadays when the music takes a back seat. And I think definitely like for Billie Eilish and stuff, the music is like almost second to just their persona and their look and their name and everything, and I hate that. I don't like that mindset at all. French rapper Oral San whole platform is that he is a wanker. Yeah, I don't know. It's all these like pop musicians are just, they're like characters. They're almost just like fictional characters, and then the music just sort of marinates their character a little bit more. It's weird. It's really weird. I feel like the idea of, I mean, there have always been famous musicians, but the idea of the hierarchy was always, I feel like, the music first, and then whoever can make it happen the best. But these days, it's like the person first, and then the music's just sort of attached to them. And that's when, like, I disagree with that a lot. It should always be the music first. Alright, see you, Tristan. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's like idols. They're just all, yeah. It's fucking... And which is the other thing is that it's tempting for non-musicians to like that stuff, because if it's easy to just like a person for who they are, and I mean if you like don't hate the music and then you just like the person a lot, yeah, I'll see you Monday, Kristen. If you don't hate the music and then you just happen to like the person for a person, that's just a very organic connection, but it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the music itself, if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. Weird times. The whole idea of these like iconic music figures, I think, is still very new and not necessarily good. I think honestly most of these people should be like actors, in which they are. There's a lot of bleeding between. You'll see like a lot of these like pop musicians just randomly will just do acting gigs when they feel like it. But I think that's more of what that's more their realm than just making music, I guess. Jared Leto, yeah. But even so, then like I don't know, there's like straight up like 50 Cent acts and shit, and then people always forget. I think that LL Cool J was just like straight up. He was a rapper, and now he's like almost exclusively just actor. And yeah, Common, yeah. And then even like Taylor Swift has been in movies and shit. And Beyonce, and then like Rihanna is in cartoons. She always like voices characters and like, you know, animated kids shit. Yeah, Billie Eilish, her music fucking sucks. Like, I'm sorry. It kind of, this stuff is hard to talk about too, but it's fine to, we all have like guilty pleasures. There's a lot of stuff I listen to that I just like, it puts me in a good mood, but I realize it's not like that incredible. But her music is really sort of objectively not good, and it is more about just her like cool, like I'm half asleep and put spiders in my mouth character, um, which I don't get. She just annoys me. She's just yeah. But what are you judging that on? Like when you say it's all right, I mean it's fine to just like you just listen to something sort of passively and you're like that's I can have that on. It doesn't bug me. Or are you really like? But you know what I mean? It's this serious distinction. And I think people who are not in music schools like they always like vehemently argue that music is completely subjective. But I don't know if you're like in a music school. I don't think I'd have a single professor that would say like music is completely subjective because they always remind you a lot. Like when you're dissecting this, when you're like judging this, you have to use your like objective skills and your knowledge to um, make a distinction on whether it's good or not. And yeah, like I listen like when I uh, when I drive to Scottsdale, I listen to like I love. I don't like Taylor Swift stuff nowadays, but I listen to like Shake It Off and shit. And I listen to Beyonce. She has a song called well, it's not her song, but she's featured in a song. Oh God, what is it called? I forget what it's called. But anyway, I do listen to like some pop, some Taylor Swift, some Beyonce, some whatever. Like if I like it, I like it. I don't have. I don't really care. I'm not completely anti pop, but again, like what Tristan was saying earlier, if it works, it works, and that's tough to do sometimes. Um, but you know, I think that the point being that a lot of pop just misses. And the other thing is that performance. I think I've talked about this stuff before, but Beyonce is like an incredible singer, and Lady Gaga is like an incredible singer. They're great singers. Like there's no doubt about that. But the music that they generally sing is just very uninspired and not very good. But I think people also equate um, performance, the art of performance, with music itself, which is fair because music is generally performance art. But there is a clear distinction between like what is being sung and the singer specifically. So it's kind of sad to me that when you know there's like such great singers and they're always just singing this kind of yeah very unoriginal, very cut and dried stuff. What do I think about musicals? Again, I don't know. I like the what I consider to be the better ones. I don't like the super when there's a lot of musicals are very everything's over like overly positive and I can't get into that shit. That shit drives me up the wall. But I like there's a beautiful musical called Light in the Piazza and like Last 5 Years is really good. Um, yeah, I mean I do like some musicals, but I think the vast majority of musicals like Into the Woods is really good, but I don't know, vast majority of musicals just, I don't know. All the nasally like yeah, I don't know. I don't like the fake positivity. It reminds me of like Disney. How everything's always like, yeah. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. What music do you usually listen to? I always listen to like a small pool of slowly changing stuff. Again, I don't really. It's interesting because I don't listen to a lot of stuff. Like 90% of the time, when someone's like, "Oh, have you heard blah blah blah?" Nope. You could no matter what it is. It could be classical, it could be jazz, it could be rock, it could be pop, whatever. But I listen to like a very small pool of shit that I like, and that is always slowly changing. I really for the last years, the last like 3 or 4 years, I've been listening a lot to a band called Hem. It's not Haim. There's like two sisters who are like there's some Nordic duo called. It's different. It's just Hem like hemming clothes. They're this band from New York, and they're just incredibly beautiful stuff. They're I gotta be careful how I describe them because when you think of what bands do you guys think of, or like what musicians do you think of when you think of the word folk? because I feel like people think of like Mumford and Sons and shit, which is not, that doesn't count. That's like it's like how country gets a bad rap. When people think about country, they probably think about like those fake cowboys playing it, you know, whatever. Like that, I don't know, the shit you hear on like country stations these days isn't real country. It's pop. Whenever stuff gets into that like realm of pop, it's not really true whatever it's trying to be. Like pop country is very different from country, and pop folk is very different from real folk. Okay, yeah, Bob Dylan, he's a good like. Him is more like historically accurate folk, like the westward expansion era folk. I mean, at least in the writing style, they use a lot of like pentatonic scales, and even in their instrumentation, a lot of the yeah, there's folk music from all cultures, right? So that's kind of why I asked the question, because everyone's got a different idea of what it is. Hem is very like westward expansion, Aaron Copland kind of folk, and so it's not it's like before like cowboys and shit kind of folk. So it doesn't have any kind of twang, but and they're like the instrumentation is beautiful. It's got like clarinets and bells and strings and flutes, and the vocals are very soothing. There's no like folky twang to it, and they're fucking gorgeous. Like every one of their songs is gorgeous. Very genuine, very genuine. You guys should check them out. They're super underrated. They have a song. It's hard to write. Like probably have my favorite Christmas song ever. It's kind of a sad, very melancholy, very sweet and sad song called "Identical Snowflakes." It's not what you're probably thinking when I say like Christmas songs. But check out like Hem, Identical Snowflakes. That one like brings me to tears. It's very sweet, but it's very like genuinely sweet. A lot of the times when you hear like overly sweet music, at least me, I'm just like, oh, it's just too much. Yeah, Hem, yeah. Um, but with these guys, I feel like it's just as straight from the soul, and it's very good, very good. And you guys will know what I'm trying to explain about their kind of folk as soon as you probably hear them. Identical Snowflakes, not so much, because it's supposed to be like just a Christmas song, but any of the other stuff, like they have a really good song called Tourniquet, and what are some of the other good ones? Half Acre. They have a really good song called Half Acre that is very kind of that traditional folk. And then they have, every once in a while, they'll just do a straight up like instrumental one. They have an instrumental piece called Evening Land, which is where if you guys follow, like are on the Discord at all, my name was Evening Land for a while, and I was like really into that because it was just, oh god, it's a gorgeous piece of music. There's no lyrics at all, but it's just like it's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful, and there's nothing quite like it. And I don't know. In terms of classical stuff, I really like Samuel Barber. He's the guy who wrote Adagio for Strings, which is like featured in Platoon. But everything that guy wrote was just like incredibly gorgeous, and again, incredibly genuine. It's hard to find earnestness in music, I think, and so when you do find it, it's I don't know, you got to hang on to it. It's important. I also like George Gershwin a lot. George Gershwin's like definitely one of my bigger influences. What's my most embarrassing guilty pleasure song? I don't know, man. Probably Shake It Off. Like I actually I jammed that. It always puts me in a good mood. Yeah, and I do like, I don't know, in terms of stuff that I think is like it's not quite that great, but it's still like it's like I wouldn't write a dissertation on it, but it's still, yo, it's going down. But it still like gets me good. I love Outcast. Outcast is good. Hey Ah by Outcast is actually like a really good song, I think. And what else? What else? I don't know, man. Fawn makes really good German Celtic folk music. That's cool. Yeah, Outcast is good. Yeah. I'm glad you guys like Outcast. I feel like, I don't know, whenever these guys fall off the map, everyone's immediately like, oh no, they're bad. They had their time, you know. This is what's cool now. But I also hate the idea that just, like, for some reason, time can just make something bad. Like, it didn't change. Time changed, but the song is the same. So why, if you liked it, why is it bad now? You know, I don't know. But that's I think that's how you can identify people who are honest and thoughtful about their opinions from people who just kind of listen to whatever's popular. Well, it's a guilty pleasure in the sense that it's not like intellectual quote unquote music. Like I wouldn't reference it in a paper for school, I guess. That's what I mean. But no, I mean I genuinely think Hey Ya is like a great song. But in song I don't know. Judging songs is way different from judging like instrumental music, I think too. Because the one thing that really bugs me about songs is when the lyrics and the music itself don't go together. And that's I made a video about that on YouTube. But there's a lot of pop that is just like no matter what you're singing about, the music is always just the same kind of shit. But in Hey Ya, it's like right on the dime. It's right on the money. Um, my friends hate it when I play Yo, What's Going Down. I really do like it. That's so funny. Yo, what's going down? I'm the coolest that you ever heard. Oh my god. Well, I'm glad you like it. I forgot about that song even existed until Max somehow found it and posted it on YouTube. 1, 2, 3, 4. Um, the video is awesome. Yeah. Alright. Oh man. Nah, dude. What are you guys up to right now? I'm still like, I gotta go to my music and careers class, and I gotta leave for it in an hour and a half. So I still got some time. I might play a video game, but I don't know. I'm so tired, and I'm just kind of enjoying this. Okay, let me tell you about these quizzes. I'm in a music history class. Hey, what's up? Ed Thy Pizzaholic. What's up, man? So I'm in this music history class, it's pretty self-explanatory. You gotta learn about the history of music, and it is very interesting. I give it that. It's really cool, and the dude, our professor, you can tell he's really passionate about it, and he's got a lot to say. So it's like um, it would be very compelling if it was just like a documentary you could watch. But the fact that you actually have to memorize all this stuff, like the volume of new material that you have to memorize per every fucking class is like ridiculous. Um, but so we have these listening quizzes where he'll take a pool of songs from a certain time period, and we have to know there's like specific recordings that accompany each piece that we are shown, and then we have to know the composer, the date it was written, and the form of the song, and the genre, quote unquote, of the song. I think genre meant something very different than it does today, back then than it does today. But the genre, quote unquote, and then we had to talk about its like stylistic features, and so he'll take like 15 to 20 songs in one pool, and then for the quiz he'll just choose just one of those songs, and you have to write down all the information about it. So it's really scary because the fact that he only chooses one makes it like all or nothing. Like you could memorize like these 19 songs, and if like the 20th one is one that you're kind of like shaky on, if he happens to choose that one, like you're fucked. All the studying you've done is for nothing because he chose that one song that you like weren't totally 100% on. So you have to like know your shit with every single song because you never know which one he's gonna choose, and it's like super stressful. If you guys, I don't have my notebook right now, but if I showed you my notebook, it looks like an insane person because I play the song on like a loop, and for the entire duration the song is playing, I'm just like rewriting the information about it, the composer, the date, and like the genre and everything. So my pages in my notebook are just like that, those same words over and over and over and over and over again because I'm just like I'm rewriting that shit as I'm listening to the song to try and like integrate it. So if when he actually does play that song in class, then I can just like shit it onto the page and get 100%. But it's sad because I feel like I'm not actually learning anything. Like it's not I'm just like putting this information in and then I'm just throwing it up onto the page. So, but a lot of schools like that. So, I don't know, man. Yeah, you should do a cover of "Yo, What's Going Down." Exactly. No retaining it. It's a fun class. It's fun to um, it's fun to listen to him because you can tell he really knows his stuff and he's passionate about it. But like when I remember that I actually have to remember all this shit, it's like, ah, fuck. And I'm like, I take notes on my computer, and even so, I'm just like I'm just constantly just, I don't know how. The guy next to me just takes them on and like he like manually writes them with a pencil. I'm like, how are you keeping up, man? Yeah. No, it is interesting. There was music for religious people, not always, but can be a weird. How should I put this? It's a means of like almost sexual expression without being wrong because okay, so for instance there was a composer, a very significant composer. She was kind of regarded as like the first composer because a lot of this like old Gregorian chant stuff, they just, I don't know, they kind of wrote it. The idea of really expressing yourself through the music was not really there yet, but she was the first one that tried to sort of make this stuff her own. Her name is Hildegard of Bingham, something like, I don't know. You can just look her up. She'll pop up. Anyway, she is kind of regarded as the first actual like identifiable individual composer, and she was like a nun, and she lived at a time when nuns were considered to be literally the brides of Jesus Christ. So like when you went to heaven, you would marry, or you would just by default be married to Jesus. So I guess Jesus is just, he's got bitches. He's got a lot of fucking bitches, if that's really the way it works. So I don't know, maybe it is. But anyway, they weren't allowed to ever have sex ever because they were saving themselves for Jesus, right? So that's kind of why nuns are so closed off and all that. There's a lot of side chicks, man. Jesus is pulling up there. But yeah, so a lot of Hildegard's texts were very overtly, like clearly sexual about Jesus. There's one text where she talks about God putting his like potion in her, and our professor was straight up like, "This is Jesus. This is about God like jizzing into them." So it's like, and this music that they performed, that she wrote, they didn't perform publicly. They sang it together at their like nun congregations. So her name is Hildegard of Bingen. Pretty sure that's it. But that really stuck with me because you just imagine all these nuns like singing this like ecstatic shit about how they're excited for like Jesus to fuck them when they get to heaven. Like that's intense, dude. Their whole life is No Nut November, and they're just waiting for that moment. So I mean, point being that even back then, those nuns were like horny as fuck, and they really believed that they were gonna get that when they went to heaven. That they did it. And this is my own. I shouldn't say this. I'm not gonna say any names or anything, obviously, but this is just my own personal kind of like. After learning about that and kind of like understanding that, in my piano class, my piano studio class, which is where all the piano students get together and like perform their stuff for each other, There's a group of like very devout Christian women who are really good at the piano, but they're very like they always have the really long skirts that go to the bottom of their like go to their feet almost, and like they're very modest, and you can just tell. I don't know, you can just tell if you've ever met that kind of person, you know what I'm talking about. They're very devout. There's something like childlike about them. You can tell that they don't like masturbate or anything. I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, whenever they play their music, they're super into it.